This is where we want to bring in our good friend, syndicated radio host Howie Carr. You can watch Howie right here on Newsmax TV.
Hey, Howie.
5 days a week. Howie, great to see you.
Hi there.
How are you? Eric Holder,
Great to
Howie.
be here
He
on
wants
Newsmax, as always.
Eric Holder wants to kick us, Howie. What do you have to say about that?
Well, you know, one other thing that people sometimes forget about Eric Holder is that when Bill Clinton was passing out those pardons at the end of his second term, remember that? Eric Holder represented some of the more unsavory characters, in addition, of course, to Hillary's brothers representing some of them, that were looking for pardons. I mean, this guy, Eric Holder, has just a record, a resume of nothing but shady, dodgy dealings and connections. He's a bad guy, and I think Donald Trump was kind of laughing at the fact that he wants to run for president. I mean, there's a lot of extremely unlikely candidates on the Democrat side, like, for instance, Michael Avenatti. But Eric Holder has got to be right up there as one of the most implausible of all. I mean, look at talk about an unsavory record right across the board from day one.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. All right, Howie, let's talk about a doomsday scenario for us on the right. What could happen after the midterms if Democrats take the House? Well, we know they want to overwhelm the Trump administration with subpoenas and things of those natures, more than like 100 investigations is what they're talking about now. The idea is to create, of course, gridlock in the White House. But here's what Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell had to say about all that.
I remember the price we paid for actually we did impeach Bill Clinton. I can remember all the enthusiasm of lots of Republicans in the House and Senate. Boy, this is the ticket, this is going to make us have a great year in '98. Set everything up. It worked exactly the opposite. The public got mad at us and felt sympathy for President Clinton. So this business of presidential harassment may or may not quite be the winner they think it is.
So, Howie, question for you. Fundamentally and historically, Leader McConnell is correct. Or the flaw in his argument, though, to me anyway, is that Bill Clinton owned the media. They loved him. They were swooning over him. It's a love fest. The media despises Donald Trump. If they could make things up about him without getting caught, they would do it wholesale all day, every day. So will we see the same result that we saw with the impeachment of Bill Clinton if the Dems take the House and they try to impeach Trump?
You know, there is the story of the little boy who cried wolf, and that's what the Democrats have been for the last 2 years. I mean, whatever happened to Russian collusion? I mean,
Right.
it's vanished from the scene. And how did these smears against Brett Kavanaugh work out for him? They seem to have backfired totally, judging from the poll results in these formerly very tight Senate races, which now Republicans seem to be pulling away in a number of states. I don't think that the mainstream media has nearly the clout that they used to. And what they already reduced, their already reduced form. They squandered their credibility over the last 2 years, just peddling fake news. I mean, there's no other way to put it. All this stuff is fake news.
Yeah.
All right, well, Howie, I want to move to another of your favorite politicians. She's your state's senator, actually. My sympathies. That is Elizabeth Warren, and she is the subject of your new article in the Boston Herald. Catch us up to what she's doing now.
Right, we have a provision in the tax code of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. You can pay at the old higher tax rate on your state income tax, the old Dukakis era rate, almost 6% as opposed to the current 5%. And as you might imagine, only a few hundred people out of 3 or 4 million filers take advantage of this every year. Well, Elizabeth Warren is running around the country demanding that the Republican tax cuts be rescinded and that the tax rate be raised to, she won't even say how high, 50, 60, 70%. So guess what she decided to do this year after never checking the box to pay at the voluntary higher tax rate? She decided to check the box. She's paying at the higher tax rate. And
Wow.
so I wrote her campaign, and I said, well, why haven't you done it for the last 10 years that this law's been in effect? You know, you could have given $50,000 more to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to support illegal aliens, welfare recipients, you know, all the people you claim to represent. And she had no response, of course.
Well, Howie, I want you to let her know that
if she
go ahead.
No. Do you want her to pay the higher rate? I think she should pay. I think she should go back, amend her tax returns, and pay the $50,000 that she could have paid over the last 10 years. I mean, it's for the children, after all, right? It's for the crumbling infrastructure.
And that's why
all those
John and I were just going to offer
that they use.
Yeah, John and I were just going to offer, and maybe you'd like to make this offer to her too. In our graciousness, if she'd like to just pay our tax bills, I mean, I would be okay with that.
I mean,
and then that would make up for what she might not be able to do. You know, those forms could be a little tricky.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, you know, everybody was criticizing me when I wrote the column on the message boards, all of her supporters saying, well, Howie, do you pay the higher taxes? And why are you criticizing her for being a hypocrite? Well, the thing is, I don't pay the higher taxes. 99.99% of the Massachusetts residents don't pay the higher voluntary taxes. But, you know, the rest of us aren't lecturing everybody in America that we should be paying more taxes.
Exactly.
Elizabeth Warren is.
Exactly.
But kind of puts her in a different category, doesn't it?
Symbolism over substance. Yeah. Exactly, Howie Carr.
Hypocrisy is incredible, Howie. Howie Carr, thanks for joining us today. Always great to see you, Howie.